Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Dragon Nest Arena. It is a bright and breezy early morning here at Funan Digital Life Mall, and it is going to be on for love or money. The 3v3, the 1v1 coming at you all day, and more importantly today, the Ancient and the Chaos are formed by China and Malaysia. The two sides to my left and right are going to be getting themselves set up and ready to rock and roll in just a few moments, as the Chinese team made up of the 777, Cookie, Moon, they are the three comprising over there, and then on my left-hand side, Nels, Swifts, and the See Me You Die are going to make up Malaysia. We'll be heading across to the Lost Temple in just a few moments for all the excitement and good fun to start happening, and that is when the 3v3 action will really come into its own. The Lost Temple is, of course, the figure 8 map that you love to see, and let's get on over there now. So there we go, the Lost Temple, as everybody starts to get themselves organised and ready to rock and roll. The two teams are separated by a mercenary. They've both got mercenaries, both got the Elemental Lords. No, they don't. That's the difference. So there's an Elemental Lord and a Bowmaster, and two priests and two mercenaries. So the Elemental Lord and the Bowmaster are going to be the difference. It'll be interesting how they come together. The Bowmaster being slightly different from the Archer, who we saw being used to full effect by our friend Falala yesterday afternoon. But nonetheless, we'll be jumping straight on into the action as the priest here from the Chinese side, just getting himself into a spot of trouble from the mercenary from Malaysia as they start to get on the offensive and the attack. The mercenary just knocked on down there as the bashing and crashing starts happen over the far left-hand side of the map side here, as we start to see everybody start to get in and on the action. The lightning strikes coming out as the two priests go together toe-to-toe. The holy wars start to begin as the bashing and crashing still continues. The Elemental Lord laying down the ice traps and all sorts of other problems as the buffs come out from the priest, and he rains down the hail, and it's going to be on for Kong, and we're going to have a 3v1 situation here. The Chinese side getting themselves a definitive advantage, and it'll be Ragdoll City over in the corner for the round victory to come, and that's the first one. The Chinese grab it. It'll be 1-0. Just a reminder, of course, this is a first to 5 in these match rounds, and then of course it is a best of 3 in terms of the number of matches. So there is plenty of Dragon Nest action for these two teams to participate in, but they need to make sure that they make every round count, and that's exactly what the Chinese are doing just at this point in time. So we watched and roll out as the Elemental Lord, she pushes up quite nicely as the Priest Lightning just doing its good effect there on the Mercenary in this occasion, as the Chinese Mercenary just firing down the boulders. He starts to barrel roll himself in. He's going to get it amongst it. The big swipe from the Malaysian Mercenary comes on in there, and that's played by Swift. So it'll be Swift versus 777 as they go toe-to-toe. Nothing really coming from it, though, as the Bowmaster backing out there. We saw the best approach from the Bowmaster yesterday afternoon was the more aggressive stance, but not so much today. The Bowmaster here from Malaysia just quite happy to sit back and contently fire a volley of arrows all over the place. So the Bowmaster, as opposed to the Archer class, being slightly more biased towards the use of arrows as opposed to the close range bashing and melee type attacks, and she is using them to full effect here. There's going to be a 3v2 situation though early on in the piece as the Chinese grab themselves a 1-up lead, and they're going to have to start trying to pull something out of the bag here. The priest is left on his lonesome as the Bowmaster from Malaysia backs off and doesn't do too much to assist his teammates, and now he's going to get caught in a corner, absolutely smashed by a mercenary and an Elemental Lord, and that will be all she wrote. 2-0 in favour of the Chinese side here. So some more good work there from the Chinese team as they grab themselves a nice consolidated lead of 2 rounds, and it'll be Malaysian team starting to try and get themselves organised here. The Bowmaster will keep an eye on her because she really needs to get in this game and get those long range shots going on early, and she's just hiding around the corners here at the moment. Mercenary comes rolling in, Boulder is perfectly placed, does a bit of splash damage on all concerned, and then he goes roaring on in to take on some more damage onto his opposite number, but the priest is there to take on the mercenary. So now the mercenary from Malaysia is going to start to bash and crash his way around. He's trying to get onto the priest, but he's been protected by his lightning cross at this point in time, so the mercenary just getting not very far at all. More the knockdowns than the fact that he's taking much damage at this stage. More shots going out there as the mercenaries both go toe-to-toe with each other. The Elemental Lord comes in. They're going to double team up on the Malaysian mercenary, the Chinese, and it's going to be a bit of trouble at Mill if he doesn't get out of that one in the hurry. He does manage to get out there and backs in to where his two teammates are, and they're going to get themselves reset and ready to rock and roll again. So the shots from the boulders and the long range shots are all getting thrown out there. The priest going to buff his side. That's good work there from him. And then the Bowmaster will continue to just volley the arrows to try and keep the Chinese side away. The Malaysians just holding their own at the moment. They want to grab that extra round, or that first round up on the board. The priest buffs start to come on down in terms of the heel cross as well. And now the Malaysians are going to have to back on off again. So they're just caught unawares as the mercenary goes roaring on in. The mercenary stuck in a bit of bother from the Chinese side. He's all alone on his lonesome out the back of where these two Malaysian players are. The priest comes in to support him, and that rains down the fire once again. Big damage caused on a whole host of players there as the crosses come out there. As does the whirlwind from the mercenary from Malaysia. This is great work from the Malaysian side. Can they capitalise on it? That's the big question. There's a mercenary and a priest stuck in that whirlwind that the mercenary had going on there. So now it's going to be all on for love and money as to who's going to pick up this round here. It's going to be very close at the bitter end. Two Chinese drop as quick as you like. It's going to be down to the Elemental Lord who was left out of that whirlwind, and she's going to get hammered in a corner, and the first round is going to come up on the board for Malaysia in just a few seconds. There we go. Some great work over in the corner there by the mercenary on his little old lonesome from Malaysia. He did some fantastic work. Had some good support obviously from the priest just to make sure things didn't get too out of hand, but the Chinese just stuck in that whirlwind, and a well-timed manoeuvre there from the mercenary meant that his team could capitalise on that round. Buffs go up, that's what you see the priest doing there, and then the cross will go down any second, I'm sure. There's the first one from the Chinese, from the Malaysians, and let's see if the Chinese go and pop theirs down somewhere. There it goes, and it'll go down at the corner. So the lightning cross is just fending off and causing trouble right from the outset. As I said before, they cause more issues in terms of knockbacks and annoyances than they do from the perspective of any great big damage participation. More shots going out there as the mercenaries go toe-to-toe, nice and close with each other. The big head-to-head battles. Big grand cross from the priest goes right through the middle of his opposite number. That will be a good damage killer, and that's a nice piece of work there from the Malaysian side. They're starting to come back here and get themselves a little bit of a roll. The mercenary going long range. Big splash damage on his opposite number with the boulder going down the front. And we're just watching that Elemental Lord. She's getting herself into a spot of bother here from the Chinese perspective, but she's still trying to get in there and keep amongst the action. They've isolated their mercenary, the Chinese, and the Malaysians could be able to capitalise on this. There's some decent damage being inflicted as the Bowmaster volleys the arrows down. She's going to get caught into a spot of bother. Oh, the mercenary comes in from behind, takes out the priest. Great work once again from the man known as Swift. He is fantastic work on the mercenary in these last couple of rounds. As the final kill goes down, the Chinese once again suffering, the Malaysians bringing it back, and it'll be 2 rounds apiece. Just a reminder, of course, that it is first to 5 rounds in these matchups, and then, of course, each match will comprise a best of 3. So we'll have 3 variations of the matches, and the winner of the first 2 will take it on out. So let's see how everything starts to progress here. The Chinese once again having to go chase the Malaysians as they go hiding around the corner and go for a different round. It seems we didn't see much use of the troll bridge yesterday, and now we're starting to see it coming to effect as the shots go spring out already. There's the ice shards going out, and those swords just pop out of the ground there as that lightning cross comes into effect. There's the Elemental Lord. She's just firing down the ice shards every which way you like, as the Chinese Moon player is using her to good effect. He's just got backdoored now at this point in time, and got a couple of hits, make that a few, as she gets absolutely hammered, caught in a whirlwind, and that's going to be big trouble. The mercenary is having her way with her in every which way you like. Now he's going to unload onto the priest. The Elemental Lord has already had the damage done, and she just gets bashed, crashed, absolutely pummeled, and she's going to get taken out down the back. Surely no, she's going to come within an inch of her life, I'm sure, as she sticks over in the backside of everybody. Now the mercenary starts to come into his play again from the Chinese perspective. He's going to have to try and fend off the players that are coming through from Malaysia who have taken the high ground. This is good news for them as the mercenary goes roaring on in. He's got a lot of work to do here for his Chinese team as they all start to pound on in there and get amongst the action. First big knockdown there from the mercenary. He gets taken out as the Chinese side just try and unload on everybody, but it's going to be a big hail of rain from the sky that is going to be the winner on the day here by the looks, as it turns into a 3v1 situation. 2 Chinese players knocked out in that priest's rain down, and that will be the end of the round. Good work there from the Chinese to try and push on through, but once again Malaysia, they dropped the first 2 and they've picked themselves back up off the floor to start wiping it clean 3 in a row there. So it has been very good work from them as we now see the Bowmaster starting to push on through. She's not going to go hiding with the rest of her team on this occasion. Yes, she is. So they'll come around the corner. Here comes the mercenary. He goes roaring in there and needs some support to come with him as they start to do so. The Elemental Lord blinks her way across the map and she gets herself into a good position. There goes the big volley of arrows from the Bowmaster. They go flying out in all different directions, that one, and then they come back on their target. as the big lineup of arrows start to come on out. That Bowmaster is unloading, but just getting knocked back by the old shot from the lightning cross. The big volley of arrows goes down deep, and they mostly hit their mark. So that is good work from the Bowmaster. Just at this point, that is the player known as See Me You Die, as he just bounces around, firing off the arrows like nothing on earth. A very ranged attacker is the Bowmaster. So a very comparable class to the Elemental Lord in respect to that. They like to sit back and they like to do their damage from afar. Speaking of from afar though, the Mercenary doesn't have any ideas on that. He comes in close range. The Priest comes down the bottom of the Troll Bridge with the Bowmaster, who got knocked down just before. So the Priest has got her in good support, but it's going to be a 3v2 situation because the Mercenary left alone up the top of the Troll Bridge is being taken down. Make that a 3v1 as it's all up to the Priest to do the damage. He is not going to go very, very good in this one. In fact, he's going to struggle. He goes hiding into the spawn area. The Mercenary comes chasing and hunting, and now he's got him knocked down. It's going to turn into a ragdoll situation, and we'll have a round over, and it'll be back to 3v3, I'm sure, in just a moment. There it is. So the Chinese grab themselves a third round, and it'll be even Stevens on the scoreboard as the two sides come together. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that of course the venue partner here is of course Funan Digital Life Mall, and what a spectacular setting they've set for us, as well as the sponsors, Alienware, Intel, Sound Image Productions, and of course Star Hub. The prize sponsored by TT Esports, which is what these players are playing for, and what we've all got floating around on our desks as well in terms of mice, mouse pads and the likes. So the two teams start to get themselves organised, just playing a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. And this is often the case when you see a 3v3 situation. The two teams just playing themselves away from each other, giving themselves a bit of room because they know how important this round can be. This is the round that's going to give them the potential match point, and it's going to be oh so important to grab that first match between these two sides. So they're going to go right up to the top of the Troll Bridge. They're going to take the higher ground in Malaysia, and that Bowmaster's going to unload as the Mercenary comes barreling on up, unloads hell as he just bashes and crashes his way around. The Priest starts to come on up there. There's a big lot of fire coming in, and there's the ice shard from that player, the Elemental Lord. The Priest and the Mercenary are doing a lot of the work here. The Bowmaster needs to come into effect if they're going to do very, very well here, the Malaysian side, as the Chinese copping a whole host of hurt. They need to pick him on up. The Priest gets knocked down underneath the Troll Bridge. The Mercenary goes chasing. This could be trouble at mill for the Chinese. In fact, they're going to double team the Chinese player underneath the Troll Bridge. Support comes in, but is it too late? The Priest is already getting hammered into a corner. It is Ragdoll City for that Priest at the moment. He is just getting nailed by the Mercenary. Continued pummeling from the Mercenary. The Bowmaster comes in as well. They're going to take him down. One goes down, the Priest as well, and then there's another one down in the back play, and in fact it'll be a triple down, 3 rounds to 0. 3 players still standing, and it'll be 4 rounds to 3 in fact on the scoreboard. Great work there from the Malaysian side to just drop that Priest off the side of the bridge, and that's what counted. His teammates didn't see, the Chinese teammates didn't see that the player had gone out of play, and that's all you need. You just need to be able to team up on one of those players, get that one player advantage, whilst also making sure that your remaining player doesn't get too damaged too quickly. But they had decent health all the way through, the Malaysian side, and the Chinese team just fell foul to the excellent work that was put together from the Malaysians. Just waiting it on out here, the two teams just playing a little bit of cat and mouse around the corners. Oh so important round for the Chinese here. They need to pick it up, go to match point, and keep themselves in this potential game in their best of 3 of these series. First to 5 wins it, so the Malaysians have the round point here as the two teams start to come to blows at the top of the Troll Bridge now. Bashed off the side of it goes the Mercenary for China. Then it's going to leave the Priest up the top. He goes jumping down to support his teammates. Good work there from him as the Mercenary now comes into play. He's pushing across onto his opposite number. They get themselves organised. They get themselves buffed up. Now they start to bash onto each other. But there's going to be Whirlwind City there from the Chinese Mercenary. He's going to do some decent damage. That's going to be a good piece of work for him all round. And now we're going to see the Mercenary and the Priest have to buff themselves up to get themselves organised. They're going to go and support their teammate, the Bowmaster, who's just currently getting pummeled by the Elemental Lord over in the corner. The Bowmaster just struggling a little bit. She'll get the heals from her priestly friend, and that's going to play good well into the hands of the Malaysians. Let's see if they can push on this at this stage as the Priest and the Bowmaster stay down the back, helping each other out. The Mercenary has to go up and do all sorts of work for the Malaysian side, but the Chinese have got a decent advantage here as they've just bashed and crashed. They've got the Priest caught into a whirlwind. This could be trouble for all concerned, as it's still a 3v3 situation. 1.5 minutes left on the clock as the two teams start to push on through. Big buff there from the Priest as he heals himself up. He's going to get himself some good health back, and there we go. Big rain of fire going down onto the Priest for China. He gets himself stuck into a corner. It's a 3v2 situation. The Malaysians have dropped their first. They're still in the game though, ladies and gentlemen. Do not discount them just at this point yet, as the Malaysian Priest is still standing. He is still pushing. There's the mercenary from China. He's in a bit of trouble as he just backs himself out of there. Got himself caught down the front there by the Bowmaster. The priest for Malaysia, he buffs himself back up. He's going to be buffs all round at this point in time. The long-range shots are going to have to come into effect here from the Bowmaster. She fires a couple off, can't quite hit the mark. She continues to fire a few more off. There's big buff underneath the troll bridge at the middle there as the priest goes in gung-ho for Malaysia. Not the best manoeuvre, I would have thought, without the support of the Bowmaster. And she gets a buff cross down, a lightning cross down. Here comes the mercenary to try and take things out on his lonesome. The Bowmaster fires the arrows on in. This is going to go down to the literal wire, ladies and gentlemen. 27 seconds left on the clock as the two teams come to blows underneath the troll bridge. Big buff up here coming from all concerned. The priest and the Bowmaster just holding themselves back as the priest still pushing through. He needs to grab a bit of aggression and go and take out one of these players. Big smack up there in the middle of the map as the two teams' area of effect comes into consideration. There's 8 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be the priest left on his lonesome as the Bowmaster gets taken out. He's going to get stuck into by the mercenary, and this round will be a victory for the Chinese. So the Malaysian priest still standing, but the 3-player versus 1-player final tally meant that the round goes to the Chinese team at the end of the time. So 3 minutes is all they're allowed in these rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty of good action there for you as the two teams just giving themselves patience, giving themselves space, but overall in the end having a whale of a time here on the map of Lost Temple. More boulders being chucked out by the mercenary, who gets himself stuck into all the players here from Malaysia on his little old lonesome. He's doing some great work, this mercenary from China. He's now getting himself stuck though. Plenty of lightning coming in his general direction as he just gets knocked down a couple of times. And now they're just going to back themselves back out of there. The Chinese side just going to hold off for that lightning cross to finish chucking out its lightning bolts that are really just annoying and quite to the extreme. At the same time, they've dropped their own lightning cross, and there we go. So another lightning cross drops down. Now they'll start to push on through as they go up towards the top of the troll bridge there. The mercenary goes barrel rolling in. He gets smacked up as he goes up the top of it, almost well timed from the Malaysian side there. And here comes the Malaysian mercenary. He pushes the Chinese mercenary down the bridge, and it's going to be a battle at the top of the bridge here. Who's going to get knocked off at first? In fact, the Bowmaster's going to jump off at first as she takes a couple of good shots. Double jumps her way up with a decent volley of arrows going in the right direction. The Malaysian side will barrel off the side of the bridge and go down the bottom side, and more arrows fired on out towards that mercenary. They're trying to take out 777 first, these Malaysian players, as the Bowmaster in the form of Simi Udai just continuing to fire those volley of arrows off. He's now got the Elemental Lord giving him some tap, and he'll just give it right on back though, and she's not able to get in close where she wanted to get to as that Elemental Lord. There's trouble over underneath the troll bridge as the mercenary gets knocked down here from Malaysia and caught on the whirlwind. This could be trouble. In fact, there's two players caught up on that whirlwind from the Chinese mercenary. He has done some fantastic damage onto these two Malaysian players that were in a decent state of scenario, and now they're going to have to get themselves back underneath and buffed, courtesy of their priestly friend. The Bowmaster goes into the forefront. She's going to take out the frontal attack scenario with the priest in cohorts, as the mercenary tries to recover a bit of health over and back play. The mercenary just bashing his opposite number off a touch, and then he goes in for the whirlwind himself. Does he get it? He does get it. Huge kills, 2 of them in a row, and the first game will go in favour of the Chinese side. 5 kills for the Chinese. In fact, look at that, 5 apiece across the board for the Malaysian side. We'll be back in just a moment with the next round. There we go, a decent start to the game here from both sides as the two teams get themselves readied up for the next round. The Chinese team just struggling to push on in there and get involved at the better end after 2 very good opening rounds to start them off, and the Malaysian players really just teaming up very, very well when they did get those round wins. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that. They're going to switch sides. The Ancients will go to now the side of the Malaysians, and the Chaos, that's the other side, they will go in the form of the Chinese. So the game will start in a few seconds, and we'll head on back to the Lost Temple. Plenty of discussion going on between the Chinese players just at this point in time as they get ready to start the battle, and that's exactly what they'll do as they lose out on that first big important match. The Malaysians just coming back from absolute the brink of disaster. They were really in a lot of trouble in that previous round, ladies and gentlemen. They managed to pick it up quite nicely, so there's full credit to them as they just chuck out the boulders now. The Chinese once again chasing the Malaysian players, who are now on blue, ladies and gentlemen, on your screen. The Malaysian side of the Ancients now, as the Chinese switch on over to the Chaos, the red side, just to make sure you can differentiate that when you're watching on the screen above. As the two teams now start to push on through, there's lots of shots coming out at them as the Malaysians once again take the high ground, and they've got themselves into a decent position. The big grand crosses are chucked out, the big double X that you see going through there. Then there's a rain of fire coming down, and it's all on for love and money. There's going to be a big push coming through the middle from the mercenary, but he's not going to really get his push going too hard, because he's going to get countered quite nicely from a whole load of arrows, as well as a priest who is on song at the moment from as far as Malaysia is concerned. He is really helping his team out a massive amount. That is the player in the form of Nels. He is on my hard left, and he is doing a great job for his side. Now they're getting themselves into a spot of bother. Speaking of priests, here's the priest Cookie from China. He's into a bit of a troublesome situation. Got himself cornered there for a second, managed to recover and get himself close to his teammates. As the mercenary for China drops on down off the troll bridge to go and take out the players who are still standing, and now the three Chinese players get themselves together. They've got the support work going. The mercenary comes in to try and take out the Elemental Lord. Oh, there's the big whirlwind, perfectly timed from China. He is absolute master at doing that, ladies and gentlemen, and he's in fact taken out his opposite number in the process of doing so. There goes the priest on the priest action. So the mercenary's taking out the mercenary, the priest takes out the priest. It's going to be Elemental Lord versus Bowmaster, surely, and she is going in for the full frontal attack. They're all smashing them up, and it will be Elemental Lord takes out the Bowmaster in the end, and it'll be 3 still standing for China as they grab the first round here in this second match. Good start there for China, as they were, as far as the health situations were concerned, they were in a bit more of a spot of bother initially than the Malaysian side was. So it's a good piece of work for them to get themselves into the right space in the game at the time that they did. We're just following the Elemental Lord as she pushes on down there, just to see how this Chinese player in the form of Moon plays the Elemental Lord down the back of the map there. She just getting stuck there on some of the lightning that goes out there. She blinks out of it though. Nice piece of, nice use of the ability to blink out of the way of that lightning, and now she fires the flame on out. There's some decent work with the flame going on there, and then there's a big rain of fire coming through. So that's the great move that we like to see there. She goes fully into the middle of the battle on a blink, and that's probably not the best move at all, because the mercenaries just mashed her into the stairs, and now she'll have to sit back and try and get back up those stairs to join her teammates. At the same time as I say that, the mercenary and the priest are just going to have to buff each other up and get themselves sorted. Elemental Lord looks down to see where the Malaysian players have disappeared to, as Moon just pushing on in on top of them. She gets a great frost out there, and it shards up a couple of them, so that is a good piece of work. That could be a vital hit up for the Malaysian players, as they've already lost one. The mercenaries are going to be still left standing, but he's got himself in a world of hurt at this stage, as he's stuck in amongst 2 or 3 players. Goes back towards his priestly friend, but he's going to die in the process, and will be the priest left from Malaysia. He'll get smashed up into a corner. No, he'll glitch through the map. So welcome to the Outlands of Dragon is up. There we go, back again, as you do. So the priest will go into it. I'm not sure how this round will play out in the end, but it probably was it was already written, I think, that the Chinese were going to win it, and I'm sure that will be how it stays, if I can. Yeah, it will be how it stays. So it'll be 2-0 on the scoreboard in favour of the Chinese. So I think everybody realised that that little trip off to the forest was just a temporary measure. So now we watch the two sides once again. The Malaysians quite content just to barrel out the back and just wait for the Chinese to come to them. 777, as aggressive as he is with that mercenary, rocks on in, says, yo, what up? I'm here to throw some boulders, and it does exactly that on numerous occasions. Oh, big smash up as the lightning cross drops just at the right moment to stop that boulder in mid-flight. Shot onto the mercenaries are a couple of good ones, and then there's a bit of a dropsies on the priest as well, who suffers from a decent long-range hit from a boulder. Now they're going toe-to-toe. The mercenary rocks up the stairs and says, hey, how you going to the Malaysian players? And 777 with the Chinese mercenary continues to push on through and give grief to the Malaysians. The priest from Malaysia is now dropped off the side of the troll bridge. He's going to get himself stuck. No, he's not. He's going to get some good support from his Bowmaster friend. But they've left their remaining mercenary up on top of the bridge. Let's see how his health situation is on top of that. It's, well, you can see it all there on your screen. We can't say too much about it for the players. And there you go. That says the world of exactly what it says. The mercenary now finally goes down. His health was absolutely slammed while he was up on top of the troll bridge by himself. Now they start to push on through. The Elemental Lord's coming in to get aggressive now as the Priest is left on his lonesome in the corner. Priest often left because they hang back and do a lot of the healing and the buffing in the same sort of action in the background. And there'll be Elemental Lord smashing up over in a corner, and that's exactly how this round will end. Chinese doing some very good work here on the Chaos side as they switch up happily to make them 3-0 in the lead here. Of course, that first match went to the Malaysians, so if the Chinese win this one, we'll go to a third matchup, and there's still another couple of rounds for the Chinese to pick up though, so the Malaysians really needing to pick themselves one up here in this second match to get themselves on the board, get themselves a kill or two to make their scoreboard looking a bit more healthy. Shots going out all over the place out the back of the map at the stage, and the shots continue to get pummeled on over and towards those Chinese. They've taken the high ground once again. The Malaysians, they seem to love this approach, and it has worked for them on a couple of occasions. The grand crosses, those big X's flying through the air. Nobody really in the way of them though from the Malaysian perspective. The mercenary copped a touch of that on his way through up the stairs, and the mercenary, oh, good boulder there from the mercenary from Malaysia. It hit its mark nicely at the top of the bridge. The arc of effect working perfectly for him there. As more shots coming through, the mercenary just getting backward toppled there by the lightning. As we'll keep an eye on this one. This could work quite interestingly. No, the Priest has gone pushing on through. Here comes the mercenary on the back door, but he's just nailed at the end there. Here he comes. He's buffed himself up. Wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for it. Here he goes. He gets on in there, and there comes the whirlwind, is it? Yes, it is. I knew it was coming sooner or later. He tries to pick one up. Can't quite do it. Not as effective as he's previously managed to pull off the 777, but he's still done some decent work. It's still a 3v3 situation. Minute and a half left on the clock as the mercenary caught on top of the troll bridge. He's in a situation where he's taking on a Priest and a Bowmaster at the same time. He gets the big whirlwind out this time round. He's going to have to have done a whole world of hurt onto his teammates, onto his opposition players rather I should say, as now the 3 Chinese players come in to go smash these on top of, oh look at that, the retaliatory whirlwind is massive from the Malaysians. It grabbed all 3 Chinese players. It's going to be a 2v2 situation here as the 2 Chinese players stay standing atop the patrol bridge. Now they're going to go in down the bottom to try and take each other down. Mercenary v mercenary situation as the lightning rods come on down. It is going to be the Priest trying to buff everybody up and trying to take them down. The mercenary there from Malaysia just bashing the ground. He's going to get on into the opposition Priest. He tries to hit him hard. He can't quite get him. The somersault roll. Now he can't get on in there. There's it comes. He bashes him a bit more. The whirlwind is a good one. It's still a 2v2 situation. 45 seconds left on the clock as the Priest fire down the lightning. There we go, there's one down. It's going to be advantage to Malaysia here as their mercenary bails on him back into the spawn. He knows what's coming in his general direction. Big area of effect. Boulder there is going to be working well for him, but this round, after so much fury early on, look at the state of health of that mercenary. It is really going to be simple as said and done as far as the Malaysians are concerned. It's just a matter of time. Oh, hold the phone as he just manages to pull off a couple of good manoeuvres here, and we saw him do this yesterday, in fact, as he starts to continue to push on, but there you still can't defend off 2 players, and there goes the round victory. Finally, Malaysia grabbed one on the board, and what a victory it was in that round, as they did it in some style. A triple whirlwind from the mercenary from Malaysia. Well done to that man, the Swifts, as he certainly showed how swift his wind can be when he throws them up in the air like that. And nice piece of work atop the bridge to do the damage on the Chinese side. The Chinese in red here, ladies and gentlemen, start to push around towards the Malaysian side, who are just sitting there waiting for him. They tap up the mercenary who came on through nice and early and just tell him to go away and leave them alone. And then they barrel on back, drop across, and start to head towards that troll bridge to go up top for the higher ground again. The boulder is a good one. It goes firing across towards him. Gets a little bit of area of effect, but the mercenary then gets stuck down the bottom of those stairs and waiting his way through to take some more shots. Shots are good ones here from the mercenary. He's now going to be careful because he's the lone man atop that bridge, and there's no support from his Chinese teammates to come on through. The Elemental Lord is starting to come as the communication comes out from the Chinese players to get themselves into it. Come on, guys, get amongst it as the big left foot goes out from the Chinese mercenary. He can't quite pick up a target, and here comes the Malaysian mercenary to try and tell his opposite number to go away and get stuff. as now the two players go all the way, dropping down the bottom of the bridge. Big shard, ice shard there from the Elemental Lord. She does some good work there, and now she's stuck on the ground. The mercenary is trying to give her all the grief that he can, and he's doing a very good job of it. The left foot comes out, the right foot comes out. He tries to bash her, can't quite get onto her with a decent enough combo, but he's still giving her enough grief. At the same time, he's taking a lot of hurts though, so it's going to be a bad situation for the mercenary from Malaysia if he can't really pick his game up here. It's still a 3v3 situation, 1 minute 30. Big whirlwinds coming down here, and it's going to chuck the Chinese players up in the air. The mercenary has done some decent work on that situation. He's managed to drop the Elemental Lord. That's a good start for him. He continues the whirlwind barrel roll around, and then he bashes the priest. He's having a whale of a time. Combos himself up and mashes that priest into the air, and it'll be the mercenaries round for sure. Swift's absolutely unloading, and his teammates supporting beautifully to grab the Malaysians their second round. They dropped 3 to start us with, ladies and gentlemen, and they've picked 2 up straight away, and that is exactly the venison they needed on this situation. The Chinese players once again having to go chasing the Malaysians, and they're not. Are they going to oblige? They're not going to oblige as readily this time round. So they just start to move their way across the map. The priest and the Elemental Lord just coming, seeking and hunting, and the mercenary doing so also for... the mercenary went backdoor styles, ran all the way around the back of the map, and came down the bridge to try and take them on down. Didn't really get too much into effect. In fact, it probably worked against the Chinese. A differing tactic has really not done them too well. The big grand cross here from the Malaysians is an absolute perler. It goes right through the middle of the entire Chinese team, and that's going to be a very big teller towards the end of this round. The priest from China needing to do some good heel work here as the big cross comes down. It gets dropped. The mercenary stays in amongst it and tries to get a few bits and pieces back as he goes up the top of the bridge, throws out the big whirlwind axe. Can't quite take out much damage on the Malaysian players. And now let's see what the Chinese have got up their sleeve. There's the mercenary, bowmaster and priest for Malaysia. There's the bowmaster just sitting back, quite happy to throw out the shots and look at the situation that they're in, ladies and gentlemen. I won't speak too much more about it, but it's certainly going to be an interesting round, this one, as they sit back and wait it on out. Boulder gets chucked out there from the mercenary. That is some decent work there from him, as the bowmaster just quite content to sit back. Oh, here comes the mercenary for China. He cops a couple of hits. The bowmaster barreling out of that whirlwind, perfectly timed. The cyclone just goes up there from the mercenary from China and is not going to do absolutely anything at all. They all manage to avoid it as the bowmaster unloads certain hell in gladiatorial Russell Crowe styles onto the opposition. She just unloads the bow, every single arrow in the quiver, and now she's going toe-to-toe with the Elemental Lord, her effective opposite number here in this matchup, as the two ranged characters go and get themselves in amongst the action. In the meantime, in back play, it's a 3v2 situation. The Chinese have dropped one player, and no, in fact, they've dropped one of the Malaysian players. It is just a priest who's going to be standing. He gets taken down. The Chinese have come back beautifully in this round, and now they've just got the bowmaster to take on down. Absolute stunning round from them, and they will effectively do so. That round was very much looking against the Chinese. They've come back nicely and taken the scoreline to 4 rounds to 2. The bowmaster sat with full health for 90% of that round, and then just at the bitter end there got absolutely nailed, as you'd expect when you're in a 3v1 situation. So good work there from the Chinese to do a little bit of a comeback round as we watch them roll on out this time round. I thought that mercenary running away around the other side tactic wouldn't be too effective for them, but it turned out it was in the end, and now we've got ourselves into the next round. It is match point for the Chinese as the Chinese mercenary does that backdoor treatment once again. There's no secrets about it anymore as he gets knocked down on a couple of occasions, tries to get himself standing, and now he's going to get caught to a bit of a combo from his opposite number. They go for the barrel roll attack, can't quite hit it off as the mercenary from China is caught in a little bit of hurt, now stung on by the arrows that go flying down on him, and they're really teaming up and concentrating on 777 at the moment, the Malaysian players, as they just continue to try and make him pay for the fact that he split from his teammates. The bowmaster's volley of arrows absolutely unloading, and she continues to do some good pushing work as the Elemental Lord gets nice and close and dirty. And now the priest is going to have to come back to heal them. The priest from China coming in to do the frontman work this time round. Gets a couple of good shots in, drops a lightning cross or two. Yeah, there it is there. No, that's the heel cross from the priest from Malaysia. and here comes the barrel roll shots. The Bowmaster is going to have to fire some shots off onto the Chinese side. It is all on here for the Malaysian team. They need to pick up this round as they watch the Chinese jump off the side of the bridge, and they'll come back up to see exactly where they've gone. The Bowmaster splits off from his team and tells them to come on back up. The Priest will do so as we've got a minute and a half left on the clock. Still 3v3 situation. Nothing really showing to be of a great significance here in this round for these two sides to actually show that they've got the medal to win it. So it still could be anybody's round at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eyes fixed on the screen. There's the whirlwind from the Priest. From the Malaysian mercenary. He goes round and round, and in fact it's the Chinese mercenary who goes round and round. He drops his opposite number, and then he drops another one, and it will be done and dusted. The Chinese will grab this round, I'm sure, as just the Bowmaster left, and she will not have much to say too much about with three players raining all merry hell on her head. There we go. That is the round. That is the game. The Chinese even it back up again. It'll be 5 kills for the mercenary from Malaysia, but more importantly, that mercenary from China. 7 kills, 5 for the Elemental Lord and 4 for the Priest. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Funan Digital Life Mall here, the venue partner for the Dragon Nest Arena. It is going to be all on back to Lost Temple here for the final map, or the final matchup between these two teams, China and Malaysia. The Chinese side, 777, Cookie and Moon, taking on the Malaysian side, Nels, Swifts and Simi Udai here on the map of Lost Temple. It has gone one map apiece, and we are now into the final between these two sides in this face-off to the death. So the two teams just getting themselves organised once again. Just to remind you that the Malaysians have switched back to the Chaos side, they are in red, and the Chinese have switched back to the blue side, which is the Ancients, and thus you will see them there in the blue. Start to see the communication coming out from the Chinese players as they get themselves organised, coming around the corner here, trying not to get caught into too many traps as they all start to rain merry hell on each other. The shots from the Elemental Lord are good shards coming up from the ground there. And the Priests are also raining some good work onto their opposite numbers. The Elemental Lord here from China just pushing on up the stairwell, but getting caught in amongst the action that's going on in and around her. The Bowmaster unloading plenty of volleys of arrows down deep onto the Elemental Lord, and the mercenary is coming in the back door from Malaysia. He's caught himself out the back by himself, but at the most important is the Priest has gone down here. So has the Bowmaster, so it's all left up to the mercenary of Swifts, and he is going to get himself caught into a world of hurt, dropped off the bridge, dropped on the ground. The Elemental Lord chucks some ice shards up just to nail his back a bit, and then it'll be done and dusted. 3 still standing for China, and they grab that first very important round to get on the board. So, ladies and gentlemen, another reminder for you, of course, we are here proudly sponsored by Alienware, Intel, Sound Image Productions, and of course Star Hub, and the prizes that these players are playing for, there's plenty of them. They are thankfully sponsored by TT Esports, courtesy of Thermaltake, and these teams are really going hard to take home this money in this Shanda Invitational matchup. The best of 4, ladies and gentlemen, the best of 4. Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and China all going nutso at each other as the shots go ringing out all over the place. The Elemental Lord's just copping a bit of heat here as she comes around the corner and gets stung by a bit of electricity, but she's trying to rain merry hell onto the opposite numbers. The mercenary for China getting himself stuck into a little bit of a posse, but nothing that he really can't get himself out of. 777 has shown that he is a man of many talents when it comes to this mercenary, and just showing that he continues to push on through. He follows a grand cross up the stairs. He goes in toe-to-toe with the Priest. In fact, he's got himself into a good position for a whirlwind, but he's not going to. He backs on out there, buffs himself up there, caught by the lightning cross at the top of the bridge though, and he will do the old roly-poly back out of trouble as the 3 Malaysian players just dropping down the back there. They're going to buff up massively there. Good work there from the Priest to get them his team nicely healed on up, and the Malaysians will go back for round 2 in this opening stanza. There's going to be 3v2 situation. They've already dropped one of the Chinese players. The mercenary goes whirlwinding up the hill as the the Malaysian mercenary just getting himself caught into a little spot of bother there. It is going to be Priest and mercenary taking on all 3 from the Malaysian perspective. The healing cross comes out. It's going to buff up the mercenary and the Priest for China as they now start to come into the action. The Bowmaster copping some heat from the opposite number in the form of the Bowmaster. Of the form of the priest, fires the arrows on down to try and take him down. It is going to be all left though to the priest for China. He's the one man remaining. The mercenary has been dropped in the background. He gets KO'd over in the corner, and now it'll turn into Ragdoll City as he will get Merry Trouble unloaded onto him. And here it continues to push on through. It's only just a matter of time. I wonder where his teammates have gone. They've gone running over. Just going, you got this, bro. You just take this one out. We'll just sit back here and do nothing. Meanwhile, the Bowmaster just battling away at the top of. Oh, there we go. Now they've finally backdoored and everybody's going to go nuts. And that will be the end of the round. So 1 round apiece in favour of nobody, in fact, because the Malaysians will grab that round nicely. The Chinese just struggling on that occasion, undone early on in the round, really appeared to be the issue. So the health bar is dropping far too quickly, and as a result, they weren't able to heal back up. And the Malaysians did some good rally work down the back to try and get themselves into a good position. So they once again wait for the Chinese to come roaring at them, and once again 777 obliges with that mercenary of his, as the Bowmaster volley of arrows is a good one, but the boulder is also well placed from the mercenary from China. 777 just continuing to push on through. It's almost a lone 777 attack here, as he wishes he was a 777 to try and take out these players in one foul swoop. As he roars up the top of the stairs, they're all going to go over the top of the troll bridge though, the Malaysian players. Now they're the buffs come back out. Shot of arrows goes out, and it will hit its mark. That is good work from the Bowmaster. She continues to fire arrows, just trying to get those area of effect attacks as well from all of the players here. The mercenary goes out into the open. He's going to throw a boulder out. No, he's not. Out they come around the back door. Here comes the 777 out the back. He's going to have the mercenary all to himself here. The mercenary from Malaysia. Swift is just trying to get himself sorted into the attack. Sima Udai just getting a little bit more trouble than he'd like to in the form of the Bowmaster from Malaysia there. The priests now coming into their own, having to heal themselves up, but they're having a cheeky little holy war at the same time in against each other. They heal and buff, and then they continue to fight each other at the same time. Elemental Lord for China is doing some good work. She's trying to bash people down in the corners. It's going to be a minute and a half left. There's some decent health bars showing up on the screens here, ladies and gentlemen. So watch for this game to really turn its health on its head. The Elemental Lord just avoiding the whirlwind there in the background, but there's going to be plenty of shots going on out there. One player from Malaysia gets dropped. The Bowmaster still stands, and it looks like so does the priest. So it's the mercenary who's been taken out in the form of a Swift. So he will go down. They've split the two players from Malaysia. This is not going to end well, as the Bowmaster caught on top of the troll bridge. She's going to get taken out surely. And as she gets all 3 players from China unloading on top of her, as she drops down the bottom of the bridge, it joins her priestly friend, but is it too little too late? So it's still a 3v2 situation here, 55 seconds left on the clock. The area of effect shot's going out there from China. They've got some decent work to still do, but at the same time, all the work has to be done by the Malaysian players, because they're sitting 1 player down on the count, and in order to get back in the game, they really need to pick up another one. And they really need to pick up a player. As the mercenaries go to trouble on the mercenary goes troublesome on the priest, and it's going to be Bowmaster taken down. The priest will be left, and he will get nailed in a corner. China will grab their second round. It'll be 2 rounds to 1 on the scoreboard. Some nice work there from China, just grabbing themselves another round over in the background. And some decent work for them to just continue to push and pummel these players from Malaysia, who were in the end split, which caused their demise. They had a bit of a chance there for a while in that 3v2 situation, but the Bowmaster was the key, and she just got caught atop the troll bridge. No priest in support, and that's pretty much the end of the round when you left 1 player on their own against 3. As now they start to go toe-to-toe and close, nice and close in fact, as the shots go ringing out. Mercenary bashing and crashing from Malaysia just pops the Elemental Lord into the air, and she falls to the ground in a world of hurt. And now drops out the ice shards all over the place. There's a lightning cross being dropped out, and there goes the big grand cross, opening for the players to pop around the corner. They're not going to oblige by going around and saying hello to that big X flying at them. It is a bit of a telltale, but it's so slow, the old holy light flying through the air, that everybody's quite comfortable letting it do its merry course. A few buffs chucked out there from the Malaysian players. Still a 3v3 situation. And they're playing this round like it's an important one, and of course it is, ladies and gentlemen, this round being oh so important for to see who can win this game, as the Chinese players quite calm and cool and collected here. The Malaysian players much the same, just keeping the comms amongst each other. A little bit of screen cheating from our man Sima Udai on his teammate to make sure he knows where he's at as well, and they're doing some good work. So they just waited on out. checking behind them, checking in front of them. Where are the Chinese players coming from? Here they are. Now they're going to start to get back into the battle. A minute and a half remains, ladies and gentlemen, and both sides really not venturing too close to each other in this game as they now start to get in amongst it. That once again, the whirlwind comes straight out from that man 777. He's going to get himself stuck though, because his teammates are going to be the ones that need to get the support. Good arrow there from the Bowmaster, hitting its mark on the Priest, so that's a decent piece of work from him. The Mercenary is going to have to come into effect here from both sides to try and at least start the players off. And as I say, that Malaysia, he uses their Priest, their Mercenary to good effect with the old Cyclone Whirlwind there. And now the Priest is getting ragdolled about. Big combo on Lightning from his opposite number in the form of the Priest. That is great work there from him. That's going to get the Chinese Priest into a bit of bother. Elemental Lord is down the back. She's still firing shots off. There's a Mercenary come through to try and take on both the Elemental Lord and the Priest. Big shot there from the Elemental Lord to push people out the way as the first player gets dropped. Then, in fact, it's the Mercenary as well. So 777 is down for China. And the three players still stand here for Malaysia. The three pushing in onto each other. And now they start to make their move across to the mid. It's going to be the Priest still pushing. The Mercenary for Malaysia is doing a lot of work underneath the troll bridge. He gets his Priest into support to try and help him out. He starts the barrel roll. He could go in there. No, he doesn't. In fact, he's going to have to back on out as his situation gets a bit more dire than he expected it to be. Shots from the Elemental Lord. She's in a world of hurt. She's going to die. There we go. It'll be another round in the bank for Malaysia. They'll even it back up again, and it'll be 2 rounds apiece on the scoreboard here on the map of Lost Temple. So these two sides just doing some very, very good work here in the Shanda Invitational as the best 4 teams in Southeast Asia come to battle and come away with some decent prizes, once again courtesy of TT Esports by Thermal Take. So these teams coming into blows. The Elemental Lord here from China, the focus for the moment, as she comes roaring around the corner. She's done some good work under the adept hands of Moon. He's just keeping everything in check and making sure that his team stays on it as far as the Magic is concerned. As I say, Magic, he gets absolutely nailed by a few lightning bolts, just sort of more annoying him than taking the health off him at this stage, as the Elemental Lord just sitting back quite happily. Grand Cross chucked out there from the Priest from Malaysia. Some nice shots coming out from the Bowmaster there, and they're going to start to come to blows. 2 minutes just about available in the round as well. The first minute will go up, and the two teams continue to push on with each other. So another quick shot there. Here we go. Mercenary goes roaring on in. In fact, he's been bushed off the side of the troll bridge, so that could be troublesome. No, in fact, his teammate's going to go and join him at the back. So Malaysia just regrouping out the back of the map and making sure that they all stay close to each other as they just encourage the Chinese players to come on down off the top of the bridge and say hello. And it's not the nicest of hellos they're wishing to offer, I'm sure, but it'll be a hello nonetheless. And still they maintain this situation down where one team is atop, one team is below. Grand Cross chucked out above everybody, doesn't really do too much. Now come out the boulders from the Mercenary. Buffs start to get put into play, and yep, everybody's buffed themselves up. Now let's watch it as this round will start to really unload here. Ladies and gentlemen, a minute 20 left on the clock. Both teams are going to have to make a move. They really want this round to get their 1 round advantage back up on the board, as the Chinese have picked it up in the last couple of opportunities and then dropped it again as the Malaysians have come back. It still sits at 2 apiece. We've got 1 minute left on the clock. Surely they're going to start to take each other on very, very soon. Otherwise we'll have a draw round and it'll have all been for nothing in vain. A little bit of electricity goes out there. They may well call this one. They may well just call it a nice little face-off at the death. They've split the Priest from his 2 teammates. This could be troublesome. Let's see if they try to aim it on him. The Mercenaries, the Bowmaster has done already. Let's see if the Priest from Malaysia will do so as well. They've caught him. Now they're going to start to home in on him. The Mercenary's gone in there as well. It's a 3v3 situation. They start to bash him around a bit. The Priest has still got plenty of health left. The Mercenary goes in, ragdolling him around of touch. He gets chucked into a whirlwind though from the Chinese 777, a Mercenary of Doom. He has done some great work with that Cyclone Whirlwind. More shots going into the Priest. They're absolutely homing in on him like nothing on earth. More players going in the background. The Elemental Lord firing up the variations of the fire and ice that needs to be thrown out there to try and get that damage done. There's going to be Mercenary on pushing on through for China as a 777. More shots coming in. Decent area of effect. They've got to be careful that they don't take it out too much. It's a 3v3 situation. Time will run out. That'll be a round draw. So yes, they pretty much mucked around for as long as they could in that round, just playing a little bit of cat and mouse, and as a result, because all 3 players were still standing on both sides, there was no outcome to the round, so it'll remain 2 rounds apiece. Of course, it is still First to 5. It doesn't matter how many rounds they could play. They could play 100 of those rounds, ladies and gentlemen. It would be a pretty long and boring game for all of us to watch, but we'd still be here for those 100 rounds of watching them do so until they got to those 5 winning rounds that they need to pick on up. So another round starts to unload here as the Mercenary, Bowmaster and Priest from Malaysia start to get their game on. The once again 777 unloads a boulder right in front of his opposite number. Swift's copping it to the face, and there's none too pleased about it as the teeth go flying. Bowmaster here from the Malaysian side, firing the shots down off the top of the stairs. Oh, look at that volley, perfectly unloaded on top of the Priest down the bottom of the stairs, and it's going to be trouble at mill here for China. They'll have to recover themselves nicely. There goes the Mercenary for Malaysia as the Priest comes into effect up the top of the bridge. All three of them still sticking together here from a Chinese perspective. They do very, very well at keeping together as a group, and they make sure that they maintain close quarters at all times. As I say that, the 777 Mercenary goes rushing off once again in his Leroy Jenkins attitude that he continues to maintain, and he will continue to get pummeled to the death, but he's got his teammates to help him out with that situation, especially that dude, the Priest, and he's doing some great work, Cookie, to keep his team nicely set and still alive. 1:45 remains on the clock as everybody starts to get themselves pushing down off the top of the bridge. The Chinese players just healing and buffing once again, making sure that they've got the health to get themselves going into the next stanza of this matchup. They barrel off the bridge. Everybody sees them do so. Now they go, oh, big boulder bashes the head of the Mercenary from China. 777 just dazed and confused onto the ground. And he'll take his team back around the corner as in comes the Priest from Malaysia. That is going to be that man, the Nels. He's done some great work, continuing pushing on with his team here. He's had to hold the torch for his team, if you will, from time to time, but he continues to do so. Follows his Mercenary friend in as the whirlwind goes up. Is it going to catch a player or two? No, it's not. There's nobody up in the top of that whirlwind, as you can see, and in fact it's not going to come off to any great effect. There he is there. Now the big 777 comes in with the big whirlwind as well, so he does some good damage onto the opposite men, and that Mercenary here from Malaysia absolutely ragdolled around a lot, in fact, as he gets nailed on the floor. 777 will get taken down. It's going to be a 3v2 situation, but has 777 done the decent enough work for his team to get themselves into a good quality position of grabbing this round? It is going to be the Priest taking to the forefront here for Malaysia as he tries to barrel onto his opposite number. Holy Wars time. They go in toe-to-toe, melee style. They're going to bash each other from not very far away, and then they're going to throw the lightning on top of each other as well. Elemental Lord continues to throw out the fire, continues to throw out the ice. As the Bowmaster barrels on back, she's firing off some decent arrows. It's going to be a touch and go here for all concerned. 5 seconds left on the clock. It's still advantage to Malaysia. Will they drop a player? Will they stay alive? Will it be a draw round? It is going to be a round 5 win for the Malaysian team. Look at the health bars, ladies and gentlemen. They are on pixels in a couple of occasions. The Bowmaster, 2%, 10% for the Mercenary, and I think it was about 20% for the Priest. The Chinese were in a decent state, but just could not grab that one kill that they needed to keep that round a draw after so much effort had gone in from both sides. Long range arrow there to open up this next round, the 7th, but the one that'll count as the 6th win if it comes to that in this 3rd and final match between the two teams. China playing Malaysia here in this Shanda Invitational best of 4. As the two teams just playing a little bit more cat and mouse here. Half a minute has already elapsed in this round of 3 minutes total time. They've dropped the lightning cross, waiting for the players to come on in and say, yo, what up to it? And China obliges. A couple of resists go on there. Oh, the Elemental Lord blinked on into some trouble. She dropped the ice shards just at the right time, but she could have got herself into more trouble than she needed to there. Her teammates come into full support as now the 777 Mercenary, he goes in. He's the one that needs to do a whole host of damage. He gets himself set up and gets himself set up quite nicely. The Bowmaster firing the shots out onto the Priest there. As more shots get flung across the middle of the map. Now it's going to be Priest v Bowmaster, but the Bowmaster, Simu died 2G with the bow in hand and just bounces on out of trouble as she continues to do that. And that's why she stays in good states of health as far as her team's concerned. It's a 3v3 situation. 1:45 left on the clock as the Elemental Lord is firing in onto the Mercenary here. No, in fact, it was the Priest, and in fact, it will be the Priest who gets taken down. So the Chinese take out the Malaysian player. It's going to be a 3v2 situation. Let's see what the health bars are looking like for us at home here, and keeping an eye on everything that's appearing. 777 sure unloads on that the poor old Simu Dai, who gets flung up in the air and in the end taken down. It'll be just the Mercenary in the form of Swift's left standing, and I feel sorry for him right now as he gets bashed up into the troll bridge back down again, up again, down again, dead as you like. Round 6 victory, 3 rounds apiece on the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can guarantee that this round is going to be a very slow one to start us off with, because this is that very important round that gets the 4th win on the board for both sides. So we'll just have to wait it on out to see how it starts to unfold as the buffs come out from both sides, and so do the heals as well. Blinking a little bit along the way is the Elemental Lord as they go chasing. 777 has gone vastly, smashingly fast into the fray of action, and left on his lonesome to cause merry hell. He will do so as a cheeky lightning bolt hitting the priest at the top of the troll bridge, and they split themselves off from the Elemental Lord, who dropped down the bottom of the troll bridge there, and now they'll start to come into consideration. The Elemental Lord, she's just going to sit on back. Boulder is a good one there from the mercenary from Malaysia. Swift is that man in control there. 3 players, of course, Semi Udai, Swift and Nels as the priest player, who you don't hear me say too often because he just continues to do some great work looking after his team in the background. There's the 3 players from China, 777, Cookie and Moon. Cookie also playing the priest role, doing some great work. He has been fantastically supportive for his team as they now go into toe-to-toe battle. The Elemental Lord getting bashed about quite a considerable amount by that unloading cross there. Great work there from the priest. Fantastic drop of a cross. Caught the Elemental Lord into a corner and bashed up, down, up, down, up, down as much as you like. Now it'll be a healing cross to boot for the Chinese as they wait the Malaysian players out. Malaysians just happy to sit atop the bridge at this point in time. A few good shots from the Bowmaster, just getting those ranged attacks in just when she needs to. And now the Elemental Lord goes in to be on point duty as far as the attack's concerned. All 3 stand in a wave atop the bridge, waiting for Malaysia to come to them. They're going to drop one down. The priest drops, the mercenary drops. Let's see what's going to happen from here. Electricity fires through the veins of the mercenary as he doesn't get himself into a good position. Oh, goes for the whirlwind. The cyclone goes up. Doesn't going to catch anybody, is he? No, he just misses out on grabbing a player in it, but not going to be too worried about that. As I say that, the Elemental Lord gets taken down in the corner. Great work here from the mercenary, as he also, in fact, the Bowmaster takes out the priest. There's sort of courtesy of some decent work from the mercenary as well, and then the mercenary for China taken out also. Great teamwork there from the Malaysian players. They got them into the perfect situation to take them down, and that's exactly how it unfolded in the end. So we hit ourselves. Match point for Malaysia. They took out the first map. It was 5 rounds to 4, and then lost the second in a 5 rounds to 2 win to the Chinese, and now they have themselves match point at 4 rounds to 3 here in the 3rd and final match between these 2 sides on the map of Temple. This is the Shanda Invitational, ladies and gentlemen, the best of 4, and we're here at Funan Digital Life Mall. They are the venue partner, and of course we're proudly supported by Alienware, Intel, Sound Image Productions and StarHub as the prizes that these players are playing for. Courtesy of TT Esports by Thermaltake. It is going to be a massive prize pool for them to take home. They'll be very happy with the work that they'll be doing here as the Chinese players start to get the game on. It is a little bit of a cagey playoff here with 45 seconds already gone in the game. 777 rocking on up the bridge. He comes over and big swipe is a good one. It takes out a couple of the players and drops them all to the ground. The Bowmaster rolling out and then backflipping her way to safety as she fires out a whole lot of arrows onto the mercenary. She gets herself stuck into a world of hurt though, and they'll all barrel on back. Oh, hold the phone. The mercenary's coming backdoor styles as 777 once again doing what he does best. Sneaky as quick as he likes. And now comes the priest from China as well. He comes in around the back, fires off the lightning bolts. The bow shots are very good from the Bowmaster. The 777's done a full lap of the map as he's gone up top of the bridge and gone back around the other side again. And he's dragged his Elemental Lord friend along with him. The Bowmaster's got caught. Oh, big whirlwind there. Has it caught a player in it? Yes, it does. The priest from Malaysia stuck in that one. That's not good news for Nels as he gets left on his little old lonesome into a world of hurt. The shots from the mercenaries are decent ones at this stage. Here comes the mercenary from Malaysia. He's pushing himself in as Swifts. He's got a decent position on top of the Elemental Lord. Now he's going to go with the whirlwind shot. No, he gets sharded up onto the ice. It's going to be a troublesome end of the round here. Still a 3v3 situation. 1 minute left on the clock. The Bowmaster starts to fire the shots on through as the mercenary tries to throw the boulder on top of his opposite teammates, opposite players. The priest goes down. That is done and dusted for Nels. He goes the first to drop. The Bowmaster and the Mercenary still stand for Malaysia, but they've got one heck of a lot of work to do. The three players for China just setting themselves back up, getting themselves regrouped and buffed, and also the heals that go on down. They know that the opposition can't do that because they've dropped their priest already. 30 seconds left on the clock. The Chinese will be quite happy to leave the round situation as it is like this, but I'm damn sure that the Malaysians won't be keen to do so. They start to fire off the shots. A few area of effect attacks go on through. Here comes the 777. He goes roaring on into the attack as the shots from the Mercenary oh no, it's going to be a 3v1 situation here, and in fact it's going to be all done and dusted. There it is, round victory for the Chinese. It'll be 4 rounds apiece on the scoreboard as we hit the last round. Who would have thought the match would come down to this? One round to rule them all as the two teams come to blows in through the mid. Underneath the troll bridge go the Chinese players. 777 will stay the focus of our interest at the moment, while he is probably getting ready to do the rock and roll roaring that he does in the last few rounds, in fact pretty much the whole match. So just watching the Malaysian players sit back and just tease and taunt with a few shots, a few arrows and a few other bits and pieces. There's the big homing arrow shot from the Bowmaster. Just it hits its mark, but doesn't do too much damage along the way. As the boulders from the Mercenaries are flung on out, buffs come in through. That is going to be a good start. So now you know it's time to get into the action. As the buffs pop on up, the Mercenary gets his game on. A little bit of a star daze there from the priest from China. And here they go. It's going to be time to rock and roll. No, they're going to back on off again and wait it on out. It's still a bit of a standoff. 1 minute has elapsed. 2 minutes remain in the round. As the two teams, they're chatting away furiously here, the Chinese players. The Malaysian players just a little bit more quiet over on their side. As the Chinese get themselves organised. They know they want this. They're pushing up the top of the troll bridge. And sitting and waiting. It's a huge standoff here, ladies and gentlemen. While we wait for the standoff, let's throw a bit of a shout out to the prize sponsor, TT Esports, as well as the other sponsors, Alienware, Intel, Sound Image Productions, and of course Star Hub, as we wait for these two teams to push on through. Mercenary 777 waiting it out. 1 minute 20 left on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. We still continue to wait. It's lightning crosses dropped, a few resist crosses and heal crosses all at the same time. Damage situations are fairly equal for both situations. Oh, both teams. Oh, it's a very ballsy move from the Malaysian Mercenary, and it is one that's going to pull off. He's managed to get himself into a good position to throw out the cyclone there. He gets a couple of players caught in amongst it. Oh, but 777 back with the retaliatory. He throws them up in the air, and that is going to be good work from him. Then the flame comes out from the Elemental Lord, and it's going to be 777 to the foray. He tries to gang up onto the opposition Mercenary. Swift is stuck in a world of hurt, as there's the priest in the form of Nels. He gets himself stuck into a situation he doesn't want to be in. The Bowmaster tries to fire off some shots just to keep everybody at bay, but they're going to be all too little too late. They don't want to get stuck inside of the spawn area, because that's going to be Corner City, and it's going to be trouble at mill. Everybody is going toe to toe. This could go any which way you like, ladies and gentlemen. The two teams are very evenly poised at this stage. Mercenary, he bashes the one up. He smashes the priest off in the corner. It is going to be 2 players down. Elemental Lord grabbing one, as the just remains the Mercenary here, as he does the big full cyclone. Can't quite take out anybody. He needs to pull off something special here. The time is against him. It is going to be Chinese grabbing the win. 9 kills there for the Elemental Lord, in fact. 5 kills for the Mercenary, and the priest grabbing just the one. Very evenly spread for Malaysia. 4, 3 and 3 for the Bowmaster, priest and Mercenary. In the end though, Chinese come up trumps, 5 rounds to 4.